What I'm trying to do on a more frequent basis, I won't say weekly basis yet, is to do a vlog. So, being at VidCon, and I mentioned this before, so sorry if I'm being repetitive, is really getting to that sense of, the coloration. So I talk about bottles all the time, individual bottle reviews. And ultimately, what is the makeup? Who's the person behind the bottle? Me. And what is some coloration that gives some more interesting facts and maybe just a background of who I am? And I think that's really essential and important, because I think that's the thing that I learned about VidCon, is that, you have to really put your face forward. And, I think that's what makes for interesting video content. If I was just in here talking about point scores all the time, I think it'd be less interesting, as opposed to getting some coloration. So it may not be specifically on wine, though I have a wine glass here filled with wine, because that's kind of a trademark in some ways, is to have that nearby and to have that cup filled halfway, as opposed to being half empty, because ultimately you want some swirl capabilities, as I talk about in my videos. I think for me, the reason I bring out positive attitude and optimism is that I don't think there's enough of it. I see a lot of negativity, including in the wine world. I've worked on the trade side of wine and, on the off-premise side. And, I would say there's a lot of competition. And I would say there's a lot of pessimism in terms of, I think people are not fostering other people to succeed. And I think ultimately that's to the detriment to maybe that organization, or maybe it's a detriment to the industry. I'm not sure if it's one or both. But I think the better step is to be, really pulling together and having a sense of cooperation. Yes, we do live in a competitive world. However, there has to be a stopping point where, that really takes a backside to a cooperative nature. That is, I'm trying to do more videos with people that I know, or maybe people that I don't know. Maybe it's a winemaker, maybe somebody, family that owns a winery. And I think that's really the coloration of getting to more interesting video content. Not that wine video reviews are not. I think they're important, because, I think ultimately, I would say that, it's such a complex world. It's a complex world of wine, and though, everybody tries to bring it down in terms of saying, oh, it's really simple. Yes, to a degree it is. It's very, very simple, and but yet there's a complex side of it. And I think to ignore the complexity of wine is to really bypass and miss essential components of it, because you're not just missing wine, you're missing everything else in the fold of it. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. Enjoy. I'm going to enjoy this wine without questioning the wine, but I think there are so many surfaces. So back to being positive. I feel in many ways in my growing up path that, I didn't always take the most positive outlook. I didn't take the most optimistic outlook. I didn't always take the most positive path. I think sometimes I was disasterized, like that's going to go wrong, or this is not going to happen, or, I think there's some ways of getting to a better place. If we are not being positive in our lives, then we're not moving forward and getting things done. Being positive, I think it really, opens up a whole world of, negativity, and that negativity just finds and, creates that energy of negativity, and it attracts more negativity, as opposed to, well, things aren't ideal, right? Let's just be honest. Things are not ideal ever, and though we would like them to be, and I think there's a way of getting there. And, it's really to take a deep breath and not disasterize each moment forward, because I don't think that's what life is all about. That's not what wine is about. I think it's really an amazing category where it is a sign of hope. I mean, it's a long-standing traditional beverage, and some would argue it's beer, some would argue it's wine. Whatever it is, it's a very ancient one. It's a tradition. It's a sense of hope. And with our modern wine culture practices, we have bottled hope. And that's a wonderful thing, is to look forward to something, and relish in something in the future. Actually looking back at a vintage and saying, I remember when. And I think those are really important things, even if it's not that long ago. So 2014, I look back at a wine I'm drinking in 2009, or open up a vintage 2009, 2008 bottle. It really harkens back to, oh, I remember what I was doing. I was doing this or that, or I was visiting, this country, or I was here. And I think it's really a sense of enjoyment to bring that together. So if I can just impart anything today, is to say, have a positive attitude, look forward to things, have an optimistic view of the future, even if that future looks really hard, or your reality right now might be difficult. I think look at Bottled Hope wine and, believe in that. And I think for me, that has been my way of getting through difficult times. That's been my way of, looking forward to things. And, I really want to, emphasize that and really encourage that belief. And it's not easy to do, I will tell you that. But, I think that path that I've taken of being more positive has helped me in the long run. And, I get a lot of messages from people saying, oh, well, you're so positive. And sometimes I say, I think and I hope that I am. But sometimes, I think when I have something might be annoying, which happens to everyone, sometimes, I notice certain people in my community pull me aside and say, hey, is everything okay? And I think that's a really wonderful thing because people are listening, and people who care, are really going to, make a notice of that. So thank you so much for watching. Bottled Hope, optimism, positive path forward. Stay tuned for more. Thank you so much. I'm on most social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Vimeo, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, as well as Instagram and WordPress. Thank you so much for following, and more to come on this great journey of wine and life. Salud.